It certainly looks like things are getting worse before they even start to get better, man. World is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I still think everything is being overblown. I still think that the most extreme measures are being put into place without really thinking about what's going on. I do think that everything is being taken to that extreme for absolutely no reason. That's just the way I feel. I started the podcast and I stopped, and then I wanted to read what was going on in the state of New York, because as of Sunday night, we will have a complete lockdown like San Francisco. Chicago just announced one as well. And I'm sure it's going to be all across the United States. So New York has locked everybody down. Governor Andrew Cuomo, on Friday, issued a sweeping edict meant to compel New Yorkers to stay indoors as much as possible, ordering all non-essential businesses to keep their workers at home as the number of confirmed outbreak cases in the state raced towards 8,000. Now, New York State, with 6% of the U.S. population, now accounts for around half of the cases in the country. This is what Mr. Cuomo and his executive order, which takes place on Sunday at 8 p.m., will do for everybody here in the state. And I'm sure it's going to be spread out across the United States. Martial law will be in effect. Healthy people under 70 years old should limit outdoor activity to getting groceries and medicine, which this will prove to be nearly impossible because this is going to throw everybody into a frenzy. Everybody's going to be in a panic. People under 70 should limit outdoor activity to getting groceries and medicine, but they may exercise, walk outside, participate in other non-contact physical activities if they stay 6 feet away from each other. I've been playing basketball with my best friend Sean because the fucking gyms are closed. I've been playing basketball for 2 hours every day, and I will continue to do that because I need that outside activity. I've gotten myself into a routine, and now you're asking me to stop. And I know that everybody that I know is healthy, so I will continue doing what I have to do. I may even ride a bike. This weekend. Mass transit will keep running, but people should not use it unless they absolutely must. Roads will remain open. It's great. If I need to go anywhere, if I want to go anywhere, like a drive around the neighborhood, listen to the New Testament album, I will certainly do that. So, mass transit, butts, you got to keep a safe distance away from everybody, but mass transit and public transportation is open. Yeah, okay. Non-essential gatherings of any size for any reason are banned. What are we doing? I hope this shit ends quick. I got Symphony X and Alter Bridge in the same month, back to back, in May. If this shit causes me to miss 2 of my favorite bands, I'm going to be pissed. There are stronger restrictions for people who are 70 and older, have compromised immune systems, or have underlying illness. Those rules include wearing masks when in company of others and not visiting households with multiple people. Businesses considered non-essential must keep all of their workers at home. Essential businesses that can stay open include grocers and restaurants. Restaurants are doing curbside and free delivery. Everybody in your neighborhood is on Seamless. Everybody. Healthcare providers, pharmacies, gas stations, convenience stores, banks, hardware stores, laundromats, and cleaners. Childcare providers, auto repair shops, utility companies, warehouse and distributors, delivery services, plumbers, and other skilled contractors, animal care providers, transportation providers, construction companies, and many kinds of manufacturers. Businesses that violate the order will be fined and forced to close. The state does not plan to fine people who violate the regulations, Mr. Cuomo said. These provisions will be enforced, the governor said at a briefing in Albany on Friday afternoon. These are not helpful hints. Another regulation issued by Mr. Cuomo on Friday requires all personal care businesses like hair and nail salons and tattoo parlors to close on Saturday. So if you were planning on getting a tattoo before WrestleMania, you ain't getting it. If you want to get your hair done in nail salons, I'm glad I got a haircut 2 weeks ago. They will not be open. So if you guys are in need of a haircut, you better get it this afternoon. Mayor Bill, and they might even be closed by the time you guys see this. I have no idea. Mayor Bill de Blasio of New York City has pushed for days for a shelter in place because he's a scumbag. Order and the governor, who is often at odds with the mayor, had repeatedly dismissed the idea, saying he did not want to quarantine New Yorkers in their homes. So Cuomo did not want to. De Blasio wanted to. De Blasio is a fucking cocksucker. On Friday, Mr. Cuomo said, with his new directive, a shelter-in-place order, saying that the term invoked for him, active shooter situations and nuclear war, words matter, he said. So he said this as far as his new directive, a shelter-in-place order, saying that the term evoked for him, active shooter situations and nuclear war. Words matter. It's going to throw people into a frenzy. That's why he didn't want to do it. De Blasio didn't give a fuck. Friday afternoon, the number of confirmed outbreak cases in New York State stood at 7,845. According to the most recent data from the city and state, a jump of more than 2,000 from Thursday. There were 5,151 confirmed cases in the city, Mr. de Blasio said. So, of these cases, 1,518 were in Brooklyn, 1,406 in Queens, 1,314 in Manhattan, 667 in the Bronx, and 242 in Staten Island. The state performed 10,000 tests overnight, bringing the total number of people tested in the state to 32,427. Around 1,250 people were hospitalized, a hospitalization rate of 18%, the governor said. Cuomo said that New York is now testing more people per capita than China or South Korea. That is where we stand right now, folks. And I do believe that WWE could be fucked. WWE could really be fucked here. And I got some news today on the podcast that WWE, it's as if they foreseen this coming. They wanted to cover all of their bases. WWE is taping next week's shows in advance, and that could include WrestleMania, which at that point, I wouldn't even bother. I really wouldn't. I don't even give a shit what people say about me or what they think of the situation. WrestleMania should not be taped. Should not be taped. If you got to go to these lengths to get WrestleMania out there on April 5th, and you want to make the excuse or come up with the excuse of, well, the people need some form of entertainment. They got a duty to uphold. Whatever. All I know is it's not going to feel like WrestleMania. It's not going to look like WrestleMania. At this point, I don't even want a WrestleMania. I'm grateful I got work. But Jesus Christ, at the end of the day, I would rather them wait for things to die down. Who knows when things are going to die down? I don't know. But it looks like the WWE might be out of commission, period. It's not even about WrestleMania anymore. The WWE might be out of commission, period. Can you imagine if there's a statewide lockdown? Or all states in the United States, statewide lockdown? Where's WWE going to perform? What if Orlando has a statewide lockdown for Florida? What is WWE going to do? They won't be able to run out of the PC. Everybody's going to be locked down at home. The CDC is now limiting people to 10 in public gatherings, and that is quickly going out the window with this new lockdown. It's almost as if you're in prison. This shit sucks, man. This shit really does suck. WrestleMania, Dave Meltzer's been saying it. Dave Meltzer has been saying it for the last couple of days. You know, everybody is like this and that about WrestleMania. There might not even be a WrestleMania. Period. Talking about moving it, talking about postponing it. There might not even be. It might be canceled completely. Unreal. This is going to be a shitty situation, man. I don't think the people are going to be dealing with this very well. You know, people are going to be losing their jobs. People are going to go stir crazy. You know, I'm worried about the fact of businesses in the area. There's not going to be anything around. There's not going to be anything anymore. Who's to say when we do come back that these businesses are going to be open and businesses are going to be thriving and they're going to go right back to what they were doing before all this stuff happened? There might not be anything left. There might not be anything left. You got OTS. I ain't going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere, but this is some scary situations, man. I honestly think that everything's being blown out of proportion. I really do. I didn't think we needed to get to this point at all, but here we are. Here we are. And undoubtedly, it's at this point inevitable. It's going to affect WWE. They fought, they clawed, they fucking tried their best to be the only entertainment entity still producing shows amidst all of this nonsense. And it might come to a situation where they cannot physically do it anymore. You know? And it's not even their choice. They're going to be shut down by the states. They're going to be shut down by the government. That's it. That's it. Everybody is going to be in the same boat. And it sucks. It really does suck. Guys, this is Off the Script, episode 318 for your March 21st, 2020. This is part number 2 of OTS this weekend. Got a lot of news to go over. A lot of news. We got some late-breaking news in regards to WrestleMania and what WWE is going to do as far as moving forward with all of these new rules and regulations for the time being. Hopefully, who's to say that these rules and regulations are going to go away? They may keep them in charge because this is what the government wants. The government wants all of this. What you're seeing now is what the government has wanted. This is what they want from the American people. This is how they want to control the American people. Exactly with what's going on right now. Who's to say we're going to go back to living the lifestyle that we had? Who's to say people are going to go back to work or able to go back to work? How many of you lost your jobs? You know, how many of you will be unemployed for months and months and months? You might not even be able to find another job. This is fucked up. It really is fucked up. But I got news on WrestleMania. I got news on WWE filming and how they are going about a new schedule with the remaining weeks of WWE TV leading into WrestleMania. All the shows right now taking place at the Performance Center for the foreseeable future. They are not moving out of that PC. What an investment that PC ended up being for them. All WWE shows will have a modified format moving forward. We'll go over the Raw, the SmackDown, and the AEW ratings and the news coming out of each one of those shows right here on the podcast. And we'll also talk about a ridiculous rumor that I'm glad is not fucking true, with Alberto Del Rio claiming he is heading back to the WWE. Please, for the love of God, I prayed to whatever God there is listening to me now about Del Rio not coming back to the WWE. He listened to my prayers. He listened to my prayers. WWE will never let Alberto Del Rio back in the WWE because he's a fucking scumbag. And I don't think that they would hire him and bring him back in after what he did and put Paige through. Vince might want him back, but I'll tell you what, Vince, you might be senile. You can't be that fucking senile. You got 4 guys on the roster right now that fill that Latino void. You don't need another one. You don't need another one. Del Rio is the least of your worries. Give me a fucking break. So we'll go over that as well right here on the podcast. Today's podcast brought to you by Manscaped, manscaped.com. Use code SCRIPT at checkout. The best in the below-the-belt grooming for us men is Manscaped. 20% off, free shipping. You guys got Manscaped down below in the description if you want more information. Again, that's code SCRIPT at checkout. Man, those boxer briefs are really fucking comfortable, man. I'm actually wearing them right now. They are fantastic. They're keeping me nice and cool during this lockdown. Manscaped.com. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that sub button. Tell people. Now's the best time to do it, man. Word of mouth I hear YouTube is actually limiting the amount of people in the offices, in the headquarters of YouTube. You know, we're not going to have humans reviewing our videos for the time being. And they actually sent out an email saying views are going to be affected. So now I need you guys more than ever. You got to get the word of mouth out there. Not only me, but everybody. All of your favorite content creators, all of your favorite podcasters in and around the YWC, IWC. Make sure you guys are going out and support, man. This is fucking ridiculous now that it's coming back to us YouTube content creators. It might even affect revenue. I haven't seen it yet, but obviously lesser views means lesser revenue. I don't want to have anything happen in regards to that. So you guys are definitely going to be the lifeblood until this thing passes of the channel. So hit that subscribe button. Tell someone about the channel if they love WWE or pro wrestling in general. And make sure that bell is turned on. If you guys want to follow me on social media, at JDfromNY206. WrestleMania is coming up. As of right now, for the time being, we'll be talking WrestleMania. I'll be live tweeting during the 2 nights of WrestleMania. As always, follow me on there, at JDfromNY206. That's on Twitter and Instagram. If you guys want to support the podcast via Patreon, you guys know how to do that. Patreon.com/JDfromNY206. And if you missed any of my other content, including the WrestleMania Heavy News and Rumors edition of Off the Script yesterday for Friday, right before SmackDown, go and check that out. And that is linked down below, along with everything else during the week. Monday Night Raw, AEW Dynamite, there was no NXT. Got some Resident Evil 3 demo gameplay for the PS4, and SmackDown from last night. Make sure you guys go and check all that stuff out, linked down below. Start the podcast off with this Del Rio news, man, quickly, so we can get it out of the way, because it's absolutely ridiculous. Alberto Del Rio appeared on a podcast to discuss his business endeavors and professional wrestling. At one point during the interview, Alberto said he has been in talks with WWE and believes that a deal can be reached for him to return in the middle of 2020. Says he considers himself semi-retired, but it would be one final run. We have been in communication, said Del Rio. We have rebuilt that bridge, says Del Rio. On that part, they were wrong, and some decisions, and I also did some things wrong on my part. I am hoping that we can reach an agreement sometime this year, or by the middle of this year. I will be back there. Alberto's last run did not end on the best of terms, and he would later make negative comments about the company, specifically Triple H. However, he said in 2018 that he has apologized to them, while also blaming Paige and her family for his personal issues. Here's what he said in 2018 about WWE. I apologize to Triple H for the issues that were going on at the time when I was in the relationship with my ex-partner, Paige. She and her entire family made me believe that those who affected our relationship were WWE, specifically Triple H. She made me believe that the videos compromising of the fighter and all that was outside was made by Triple H and the company. At the time, I believed her because she was my partner. I defended her by heart and sword, he says. It is worth noting that he's made similar claims in the past, but WWE has said that they have no interest in bringing him back, and rightfully so, because he's absolutely fucking garbage. Always was garbage. We'll see if WWE is indeed interested this time, or if Alberto's recent comments were just wishful thinking on his part. So clearly, in my eyes, when I read this, I'm like, please, God, no, we don't need Alberto Del Rio in the WWE. And the other thing that got me thinking was, man, Del Rio probably has all the time in the world. Nobody's talking about Del Rio, rightfully so. He fucking sucks. And he needs to be back in the public eye again. He wants people to start talking about him. Thus, the comments about, hey, WWE and I are talking, I'll be back in the middle of this year. There might not even be a WWE product for you to go back to. We don't need Alberto Del Rio. So this caught many fans off guard. It didn't catch me off guard. I knew this was a complete bogus story right from the get-go. Alex McCarthy followed up this story of TalkSport.com. Alex McCarthy. He recently tweeted an update on what he's heard about Del Rio and the WWE. He says this on Twitter, and I quote, "I'm told that Triple H absolutely didn't reach out to Del Rio for what it's worth. Neither did anyone in the WWE." Another update from Fightful. Sean Ross Sapp and Fightful Select in a report where one source told them that it was outright bullshit about what Alberto Del Rio said. Another source went back to a previous statement about how Paige is more valuable to have around than anything he could do, and the company doesn't want to risk making her uncomfortable by having him around due to their past relationship. There you go, folks. That is the kicker right there. That is the cherry on top of the cake. They just signed Paige to a 5-year deal. They baby Paige like they are her mother, honestly. It's what WWE does. They would never bring in Del Rio to make her feel uncomfortable in any way, shape, or form. Del Rio has had some negative things to say about Triple H and the WWE. Vince McMahon apparently loves Del Rio. Triple H, I'm not sure he cares about Del Rio whatsoever. Del Rio was last seen in a high-profile match when he fought former UFC light heavyweight champion Tito Ortiz. Ortiz beat the former WWE champion in the first round with a rear naked choke submission under the Combate Americas banner. And that's that. Del Rio is absolutely out of his mind. There's no way he's coming back to the WWE. WWE would never bring that upon Paige. They don't need him. He's absolutely worthless. There's not one guy, more so in recent memory, that just elicits absolute fucking boredom than Alberto Del Rio. I could not ever get behind Alberto Del Rio. When he was there, I thought he was garbage. When he was there, I thought he was boring. When he was there, I didn't want him there. If you talk about get off my TV, my God, man, he graduated. Get off my TV. We don't need him. He is absolutely, at this stage of the game, worthless. And then you got people claiming that AEW, they took WWE, Matt Hardy and Luke Harper. They're signing ex-WWE guys. Yeah, but you're okay with them, WWE, taking back Alberto Del Rio. Here's something that you might not be thinking of, social media cretin. You don't need Del Rio. You got Andrade and you got Angel Garza. I would even lump Humberto Carrillo into that nice little class they got there. Fuck you need Alberto Del Rio for? You know what I want Del Rio for? Hey, bro, don't you run a Mexican restaurant? More chips and pico on the table, please. Por favor. Fuck out of here. Another guy who, and I love this next guy. I love Phil Brooks. I admire Phil Brooks. CM Punk, he lists several names he would want to wrestle. It's great. He lists several names he would want to wrestle. So he was interviewed on the podcast Swing and Misses podcast, where he spoke about a wide range of topics. I never heard of these podcasts before. I think that's Jennifer Decker from AEW's podcast, if I'm not mistaken. During the interview, he was asked what it would take for him to potentially get back in the ring. He says this, and I quote, "I get that question a lot." Oh, yeah? No shit. No shit. Man, I thought these people would ask fucking intelligent questions. Why don't you ask him what type of comic book he's fucking reading nowadays? What's your favorite anime series? Seriously, what up-and-coming UFC fighter do you have your eyes on to be the next face of the company? Shit like that, you know? Well, what does it feel like to go back and watch WWE and give yourself a history lesson now that you're back on WWE Backstage? Why does everybody just gravitate to, oh man, when are you getting back in the ring? Who do you want to wrestle? You're going to show up at WrestleMania? You're going to show up in the Royal Rumble? Fucking ridiculous, man. Everybody's cut from the same fucking cloth. Uncreative. I get that question a lot. The answer changes. It's a very fluid answer. Currently, if the business was right and I had somebody that motivated me across the ring from me, I think might be able to get it done. Nobody has dangled the correct carrot, says CM Punk. So when asked about potential opponents, he stated that it would be people that he's worked with before and there would have to be a clean slate. Guys like Daniel Bryan, which I've always said should have been the main event of WrestleMania 30. Someone please prove me wrong. Daniel Bryan, John Cena, who's probably CM Punk's greatest rival. Probably John Cena's greatest rival. Rey Mysterio. He noted that these guys are people that he would listen to as far as their ideas. Regarding people that he's not wrestled before, a guy like Will Ospreay comes to mind. There's a lot of moving parts. I'm busy doing other stuff and nobody has found the right combination of ways to approach me. It's not all up to me. Ladies and gentlemen, it's up to the people who actually run the company. Punk works for Fox, obviously, on WWE Backstage. He's there once a month. Before he signed with the network, there were rumblings of him potentially going to AEW, and the promotion did make him a big money offer, but Punk decided against the move. He could still realistically sign with AEW because he's not a WWE employee. So he could realistically still show up there whenever he wants. I don't think he'll do that because I think WWE and Punk have an eye on each other, and if Punk wants the big payday, it's going to be at WrestleMania. So the former WWE champion CM Punk also talked about his joke about Roman Reigns at WrestleMania and more. Will Ospreay actually... Now, I want to know what the Roman Reigns joke is about. If any of you guys know what that joke is, please fill me in. But Ospreay responded to CM Punk. He says this, and I quote, "Just an idea because we could all use something to focus on to get us through this hard time right now. Save January 4th and get some reps in. Help the business move forward instead of being a spoke on the wheel. This might be clickbait, but a great white just bit." And then he ats CM Punk. You know, CM Punk is back. I was very happy that he was back. A lot of people were fucking going crazy over the fact that CM Punk is back on a WWE-related program. He's not on WWE TV, but he's back on a WWE-related program talking about the current product. Now, he's been there once a month. I have not watched at all since maybe the debut episode. I really haven't. So even CM Punk is not going to get me to watch WWE Backstage. The formula is stale. It's not entertaining at all. It's not anywhere close to what I thought it would be. It's a little bit more lighthearted. It's a little bit more lenient and flexible. But even with him there, it's not must-see. You know, we all expected CM Punk to come back and be must-see. And now that he's back, I genuinely don't even care that he's back. I don't. So, another reason why I think CM Punk is talking about this and who we would want to wrestle and, you know, Will Ospreay, just like Alberto Del Rio, I don't think CM Punk's name is really in the eyes, in the mouths, and in the ears of people enough. So he figured, you know what, let me throw some gasoline on this fire. He seems to be bored. He might be bored with WWE Backstage. He wanted to ignite some talk on social media and get people talking about CM Punk once again. That's the only reason why he did this A, podcast, and B, talked about names now who are still doing their thing. You know? Obviously, when you mention, oh yeah, CM Punk wants to wrestle Daniel Bryan, or CM Punk wants to wrestle Will Ospreay, and then Will Ospreay adds his fucking fuel to this fire that CM Punk already started, and, you know, he says, save January 4th on your calendar, Wrestle Kingdom. I'd love to see it. I think it'd be fantastic. But is Punk going to do it? I don't know. Punk will be back when Punk wants to be back. Why don't we stop talking about it and just let it naturally happen? And if the guy has said the same thing in every fucking interview, nobody has dangled the right carrot. Come talk to me. Why hasn't anyone come and talked to CM Punk the way he wants to be spoken to? I don't get it. I really don't get it. It's the same. He says the same thing literally every single time. So talk to him. Talk to him respectfully. Show him that you want his services. And obviously, if there's a mutual agreement there and you want his services and he wants to provide his services, then you better fork over the dollar. Several dollars. Many dollars. Please. Punk will be back in a ring. We don't know when. When that happens, that's when we will give a shit about CM Punk. Triple H reportedly got a quiet demotion. Now, I mentioned this, I believe, on the SmackDown review on Friday from that first empty arena show at the PC, which was god-awful. I talked about it then. And I figured I'd talk about it here now just to kind of go over it again because I got the actual story. Dave Meltzer noted that after George Barrios and Michelle Wilson were fired, that there were people in WWE who hinted that something almost as big happened in December, but it was never made clear what it was. A new SEC filing revealed this week that Triple H's new job title is Executive Vice President, Global Talent Strategy and Development. This is considered a demotion by people in the company because his previous job title was the Head of Talent Relations, and he oversaw many departments as EVP of Talent, Live Events, and Creative. Triple H has been moved from his main duties, and now his main role is to deal with NXT, selling NXT TV, and overseeing and expanding NXT worldwide. Meltzer noted that Brad Bloom, Vince McMahon's chief of staff, took over Triple H's other duties as executive vice president of operations. The change has been described by people in the WWE as a quiet demotion, and his new title gives off the impression that he's negotiating with talent, but he was removed from doing that. Mark Carrano, the fucking clown that you see on Total Divas all the time, now reports to Bloom and not Triple H. The fact that this was all kept quiet until it was spotted in the SEC filing is very bizarre. Triple H, listen, I don't consider it a demotion because no matter what happens with who they bring into the company, the one thing that I don't really understand, and I don't understand it as far as I just don't have any knowledge on it, is Triple H is more in sync and more in tune with what's going on in and around the world of pro wrestling more than anybody else that Vince McMahon can appoint on his side of the fence. So why would anybody feel comfortable about Brad Bloom, or Blum, B-L-U-M, Brad Blum? Why would anybody feel comfortable about him going out there and scouting talent? Now, is he cut from the same cloth as Triple H? Does he know just as much as Triple H? Maybe he knows more than Triple H. I don't know, but it doesn't really speak to the overall vision of where WWE should be if Triple H is not really manning talent. Then I think, well, if anybody's coming into the WWE from the indies, or they're going to go out there and scout younger talent and bring them on into the WWE eventually, they're all going to have to go through Triple H anyway. So if Triple H can't do anything with them, then there's no hope for them anywhere in the company. So Triple H is still, even though he's not the executive vice president of talent relations, he is still going to be hands-on with most of the talent because they're going to be coming in through NXT anyway. The only thing I see here, and people were shitting on this, shitting on Triple H. He even made a lighthearted joke about it on SmackDown on Friday. Not this past Friday. Not yesterday, but the week prior. Was that he got demoted. Now, the only thing that I could see here as far as the demotion goes is that his influence is not going to be felt anymore on the main roster. It's strictly NXT. He will have nothing to do with the main roster, which scares me a little bit because when WWE pulls somebody from NXT and has them on the main roster, those people, like a Rick O'Shea, are not going to have Triple H to go begging to anymore. They're not going to have that security blanket in Triple H. When you're on the main roster, Triple H is going to be down at NXT. He's going to be handling only NXT. When you're on the main roster, your security blanket is gone, bro. You got nowhere to turn. You're going to get buried? You're going to get buried. All you got to do is cry in the corner. Can't be going to Triple H and crying your heart out, wanting to go back to NXT anymore. His influence and whatever little say he had on the main roster, that's where the demotion comes in. As far as talent, all the incoming talent has to go through Triple H anyway, because more likely 9 out of 10 times, unless you're like an AJ Styles and they're going to promote you right to the main roster, 9 out of 10 times you're going right through the NXT Performance Center. Simple. So the only demotion that Triple H got is that his influence on the main roster, whatever little influence he had, is not going to be anymore. WWE has a new filming schedule with the remaining weeks of WWE TV. Now, there is a lot of uncertainty in the country right now, so WWE wants to make sure that they will be able to broadcast shows over the next several weeks. Post Wrestling is reporting that WWE is looking at taping the remaining episodes of Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown that lead into WrestleMania. The tapings would include the March 23rd and the March 30th episodes of Raw and the March 27th and the April 3rd episodes of SmackDown. There is no word on NXT. According to one source, the expectation in the company that the taping schedule will also include both WrestleMania shows scheduled to air on Saturday, April 4th and Sunday, April 5th on the WWE Network. Another source was not sure if Mania being taped is the case, so it appears that taping Mania ahead of time is not currently set in stone. Tapings on a closed set would likely prevent spoilers from getting out. Somebody will have spoilers. That's why I don't really want a taped WrestleMania. On top of the fact that when WWE tapes a fucking show, it looks and sounds awful. Now, we're not getting any sound, period, but the vibe and the feel and the look of a taped show is awful in WWE. Every single time they do it, you just know it's taped. It sucks. And the fact that they are possibly taping WrestleMania, you know for a fact that there will be spoilers. Brad Shepard might end up getting the fucking spoilers for all we know, you know? And at that point, do you even want to watch WrestleMania if the shit is spoiled? Now, as previously noted, Mania will take place across 2 nights in what they are saying is multiple locations. Now, I don't know what they're doing. They might go outside the box for this WrestleMania. I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe they might film on a fucking pirate ship somewhere. Maybe Edge and Randy Orton have a fucking last man standing match on the fucking deck of a pirate ship. Who knows? Who knows? They might get creative. It looks like they might have to get creative. They might have to go outside of their box so much to make this WrestleMania feel a small iota of what WrestleMania should feel like. I don't know. They had nothing to lose. You might as well do all the experimentation you want with this WrestleMania. What is there to lose? Rob Gronkowski will be the host of the multi-night event. Gronk tweeted that he will be on SmackDown. He was on SmackDown last week, but this is being recorded on Friday, so I have not watched SmackDown yet. I guess we'll talk about that sometime this weekend. He will be on SmackDown to provide more details. Goldberg and Roman Reigns are scheduled to appear on SmackDown for a contract signing. WWE pulled a good rating on Raw for Monday's show, with the Men's Royal Rumble replay drawing the best numbers of the night. Clearly. So if you didn't watch the Royal Rumble, if you're a casual fan who's not with the WWE Network and you didn't see the Royal Rumble, clearly you were interested in what the Royal Rumble was all about. The success of that show could lead to WWE showing more archived content on Raw and SmackDown over the next several weeks so that they could fill time. If they want to do that, don't show me the 2020 Royal Rumble. Why don't you do something that promotes the overall grand, feel of the WWE Network? Seriously, why don't you show Edge and Randy Orton? The only thing they have left to do is to make the match official. That's it. Why don't you show me some of Randy Orton's top WrestleMania matches? Why don't you show me some of Edge's top WrestleMania match? I got one that you could show me. How about his match with The Undertaker? How about his match with Mick Foley when Edge speared Mick Foley through a flaming table? I would love to see that on WWE TV. And then you're selling the network as well. All you got to do is say, look at Edge's classic WrestleMania matches, Look at Randy Orton's classic WrestleMania matches. You want to find more classic WrestleMania moments? Subscribe to the WWE Network. $9.99? That's all you got to do. And that's just one example. You could do that up and down the card. John Cena versus AJ Styles. Or John Cena versus Shinsuke Nakamura, even though it wasn't that good. You could do AJ Styles versus Shane McMahon. That was probably the best match on that fucking show at WrestleMania a couple years back, right? You could do that. You could show The Undertaker. Undertaker's WrestleMania's fucking bread and butter. Back in the day. So you might as well show some of The Undertaker's classic WrestleMania moments. What about his Hell in a Cell match with Triple H with Shawn Michaels as a special guest referee. What about his match with Batista? You know? You could always do that. So, I wish WWE would get creative as far as showing old content. That way they could promote the WWE Network. Or, better yet, why don't you make the best of the situation and actually book some shows? Book some matches like AEW did with the roster there. You could certainly do that. AEW abided by the fucking rules. Why can't WWE abide by the rules? Why does everything gotta be so apocalyptic? Why does everything have to be so unfun and unnatural? It's like WWE is running a militant style fucking company. You know? Everybody's gotta fall in line and follow orders. They can't be lenient and fucking loose and fun-loving. Make the best of the situation. People don't want to watch an empty fucking arena with no sound. You know? Everybody's concerned about what the fuck is going on in the world right now, and then you're having a show with no fucking sound, no energy, no life. Yeah, you're bringing smiles to people's faces. I'd love to see where are these smiles? I don't see them. They're certainly not emanating on my fucking face. So they deserve to be shit on. Nothing sounds natural. They always go about things in the most overproduced and unorganic way possible. They just don't know how to have any fun. Now, granted, the taping ahead of Raw and SmackDown might seem like the best idea because who the fuck knows, like I mentioned in the beginning, New York State's getting closed down, New Jersey, the tri-state area, New Jersey, Connecticut, and, New York. Pennsylvania's probably going to be included in that. Probably going to be shut down. San Francisco's shut down for 2 or 3 weeks. Chicago's going to be shut down. Who's to say that the entire United States isn't going to be shut down? What if Florida shuts down? Has a statewide shutdown? That means WWE can't do shit. Everybody's stuck where they are. You know? And WWE, with this new schedule, it makes sense, but we don't even know if they go and do that. We don't even know if WrestleMania is going to be a thing. I would rather them not tape WrestleMania. I am not keen at all on what's going on with WrestleMania. I would say just fucking postpone it. But again, I don't even know what's going on. I'm hoping this could last, a couple of months. March, April, May, couple of months. Get back to things in June. And then we just pick it up right there. Open spot in the pay-per-view, like I mentioned on Friday's show. Open spot in the pay-per-view calendar in June. Hold it inside Madison Square Garden. You're good to go. It's not 80,000 fucking people in Tampa, but it's still WrestleMania. WrestleMania 1 and WrestleMania 10 and WrestleMania 20 were all held in Madison Square Garden. Haven't been back to Madison Square Garden since WrestleMania fucking 20. I think it would be a beautiful thing. It would be a beautiful final chapter in this fucking just shit story right now that's going on with whatever's going on in the world, especially in the industry of pro wrestling. So WWE pulled a good rating with the Monday Night Raw Men's Royal Rumble match. People like me, the majority of us, did not give a shit about it because it just showed how uncreative WWE really is. And then they didn't even promote the WWE Network on top of that. They just showed you, fucking the entire Royal Rumble match with like 17 commercials. So as of now, all the advertised matches for WrestleMania are scheduled, but 2 matches that were not yet announced have been canceled. So we talked about that on Friday's show, and that could be the women's tag team title match, and I believe a United States Championship match between Rey Mysterio and Andrade. Those matches might not be taking place. Mandy Rose and the whole Otis thing with Dolph Ziggler, that might be canceled or held until we get back to a live audience, because that story needs it. So we'll see what happens there. Obviously, all the shows are taking place at the Performance Center for the foreseeable future. Again, we don't know if that's going to be a thing. So PW Insiders reporting that all major shows will likely be filmed at the Performance Center for the foreseeable future, quote unquote. It is possible that the PC will be the new regular home for WWE's flagship series, both Raw and SmackDown, for the foreseeable future. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful, who is reporting that SmackDown will likely be the first of many shows held at the Performance Center in the coming weeks and months. Obviously, that happened last week. So this is dating back all the way to last week. There is consideration of running several upcoming WWE shows from the Performance Center, with SmackDown being the first. Obviously, we've seen that on Friday. We've seen that as of last night as well, and then Monday with Raw. They need to go about, if they can, go about doing the same thing that AEW did. I really hope so. Now, speaking of how WWE shows are likely to be impacted by this outbreak, obviously, WrestleMania 36 is in limbo. We don't know what's going to happen as far as the schedule and their new format. We have no idea because things are changing day to day constantly about what is going on, what's being shut down, what is being allowed, what's the limitations on people being in one public place. Everything is changing day by day, so we have to keep a close eye on what is going on because everything that is happening right now is going to obviously impact the WWE. The modified format that Dave Meltzer talked about with all shows moving forward. As of right now, Friday at 4 o'clock, there is no planned matches for SmackDown. So I'm not sure if they're going to even show matches on SmackDown tonight. By the time you guys see this, there might not have been any matches aired on SmackDown. All WWE shows will have a modified format, says Dave Meltzer. NXT had a modified format. There was no matches. There was just sit-down interviews with Triple H and Tom Phillips and then highlight packages. This is why AEW crushed NXT in the ratings, but it's not a week in which the ratings do matter. So at the end of the day, that really doesn't matter. Obviously, there's pressure with AEW and NXT for the counter programming. They want to one-up each other, so it will be interesting what NXT does the following week, if there is even an NXT show. And what AEW does, there might not even be an AEW show. They didn't outright say that there was going to be an AEW show. They did not say next week. Next week is scheduled to be Blood and Guts, the big War Games-like match by AEW. They did not even mention when it's going to take place. They said on the next Dynamite, whenever that might be able to take place. I don't know. Dynamite obviously has Daly's Place. It is a amphitheater that's owned by the Khan family. But again, nobody knows because of the situation that's going on right now. If a statewide lockdown happens in Florida, there'll be no wrestling shows. No wrestling shows in Jacksonville, no wrestling shows in Orlando, and then obviously AEW and WWE will be, I don't want to say out of business, but they will be on hiatus. That very sought after and highly talked about off-season will be in effect for pro wrestling. So that's that. Modified format, there may be no format in the days and weeks to come. Guys, before we get into the ratings and all of the SmackDown, AEW, and Monday Night Raw news, today's show is brought to you by Manscaped. Manscaped.com, and it's the best for the below-the-belt grooming needs for us men. Manscaped is forever changing the grooming game with their Perfect Package 3.0 Essentials Kit. It is the perfect tools for your family jewels. The Perfect Package 3.0 kit comes with the new and improved Lawnmower 3.0. It's waterproof, it's a cordless body trimmer, and a ton of other liquid formulations to round out your manscaping routine. This is the third generation trimmer that features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to prevent manscaping accidents, so millions of balls are about to be nick-free thanks to Manscaped's advanced skin-safe technology. And of course, they have their Crop Preserver, an anti-chafing ball deodorant and moisturizer. Now, some wrestling fans use armpit deodorant. Some of you do not, and I know that for a fact because I've been around you and I smelt you. You already hopefully put on deodorant under your armpits, so why not put deodorant on the smelliest part of your body? When you purchase the new Perfect Package 3.0 kit at Manscaped.com, you get the biggest bang for your young buck. Subscribers get a new replacement blade refill for your lawnmower trimmer delivered to your door every 3 months, making sure your trimmer always stays fresh and clean. For a limited time, subscribers get not one but two free gifts. The Shed Travel Bag, which is a $39 value, and the patented high-performance anti-chafing Manscaped Boxer Briefs. This is the perfect package for your perfect package. Get 20% off and free shipping with code SCRIPT at manscaped.com. Do yourself a favor and always use the right tools for the job. Once again, guys, that's 20% off and free shipping with code SCRIPT at manscaped.com. Your partner, your body, and your balls will thank you. Everybody was looking forward to SmackDown on Friday, the first Friday of this empty arena situation. And they were looking forward to it because they've never seen anything like this before. It was something that you're going to be talking about when you're telling your kids about the time when there was an outbreak in the United States and WWE had to perform at the Performance Center in front of no fans in an empty warehouse. Everybody was excited because of the unpredictability of it. What was WWE going to do to really give us something on the road to WrestleMania under all of these revolving circumstances, all this situation going on? And then we got through the first match, and Triple H did his best to be lighthearted and jovial and fun and unpredictable and funny and just out there being himself. He felt like he was out there performing while he was a part of D-Generation X. Triple H did a great job at really just loosening everybody up in this time of uncertainty. He was actually the best part of the show. And then WWE, after the first match with Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross versus Sasha Banks and Bayley, I said to myself, I can't watch this shit for 2 hours. You know, I knew that it was going to be weird. I knew it was going to be bizarre and different. I did not expect WWE to go and do what they did on Friday and then again on Monday, especially after everybody was critical of their handling of the situation. They went and did the same thing on Monday. Even worse, they barely even put on a show. One scheduled match. One. This is what WWE's creativity has come to. They have the creativity of a common housefly, is WWE creative. So, I do understand that the situations are changing day by day. But man, oh man, I don't know how a multi-billion-dollar company cannot come up with the idea of, well, maybe an empty arena show is just not going to work in the grand scheme of things when it comes to professional wrestling, right? You know, maybe we shouldn't put on a show in front of no fans, Vince. You know, I like eating my wood in front of only me and the trees, but we got no fans in the PC. And I don't think this is going to work, Vince. But we're going to put on the show anyway, because I need my insurance money. That's exactly what they were thinking, you know? WrestleMania is still going on because of the insurance money. But Vince, I don't think this is going to work. In fact, I don't give a shit, man. Put on the fucking show. You know, we'll just have some wood, and that'll keep us entertained. Give me a break, man. I think everybody should understand this by now, that an empty arena show is not going to work. So the rating on Friday's show was actually one of the better numbers of 2020, 2.588 million viewers. It's the second best number since November 8th. So it takes them to be in an empty arena show. And I honestly think that a lot of that is sheer curiosity. Now, clearly, I don't know what the show is going to get on this week's episode of SmackDown. You got Goldberg and Roman Reigns, a contract signing. Who gives a shit? Gronkowski's going to be there. Who gives a shit? So they'll probably pull in the same fucking rating because you got these blithering idiots that don't give a shit. But that 2.588 million viewers is more out of sheer curiosity in how WWE was going to handle things. Then they seen it on Monday. The rating was one of the better ratings on Monday as well because of the way WWE showed the Royal Rumble from 2020 in its entirety. So that sheer curiosity is what they're hoping for to keep them consistent with the ratings. In total audience, SmackDown was up 5.6% from last week. It had the same rating as last week in 18 to 49 and was up 25% in the 18 to 34 demo. The show averaged 2.673 million viewers in hour 1 and dropped 6% in hour 2 to 2.503 million. The stronger than usual drop could have been due to the fact that a good portion of the episode was taken up by the replay of last weekend's Tag Team Elimination Chamber match that saw The Miz and John Morrison retain their tag team titles. WWE has also confirmed that all shows for the foreseeable future will take place at the Performance Center with only essential personnel in attendance. Now, AEW had their show. AEW had their show on Wednesday, and it was masterful. It was absolutely masterful, and this is what WWE should be doing. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. AEW went about it, they followed the rules, and they made a show that was actually very well produced. If it wasn't for the situation, AEW might have had their best show ever. With the crowd reactions that would have been had for Brody Lee and Matt Hardy, it would have been great. So, of course, Ryan Satan has to fucking throw his WWE ball gargling ways out there on social media. This guy's got so much of WWE's cock in his mouth, he doesn't need to eat for the entire fucking lockdown. Keep sucking that dick, Satan. You fucking cretin. This guy's a fucking asshole with a terrible fucking comb over. How you're even allowed to have a fucking opinion is unbelievable to me. Who the fuck would hire you? And you're on WWE Backstage, so that's pretty much the gist of Ryan Satin and his fucking WWE employment ways. Yeah, you're on a show that I get better ratings than. Oh, man, I love it. I love it. He says this, because he loves the WWE schlong. I realize AEW had wrestlers sit ringside for Dynamite to enhance the wrestling with no crowd. But how did most of these people classify as essential personnel? Should AEW be risking public health to have talent sit in the arena as fans? Especially older guys like Tully and Jake the Snake? So clearly I had to see this, and it got 530 likes, so obviously a good number of people, a healthy number of people agree with me. I said this, and I quote, "Shut the fuck up, Ryan Satan. This guy is a fucking tool who is the absolute definition of a cancer to this community. How do they classify as personnel? They were every bit of the reason why Dynamite was perfectly executed on Wednesday night. WWE needs to take lessons. Next time when you want your podcast needs or you have a need to listen to a pro wrestling podcast, do not listen to the Pro Wrestling Sheet. Fucking garbage." Clearly, you can see the context of their podcast just based on what this guy said in this one tweet. Get rid of this guy. He is an I swear to God, if I seen him face to face, I'd tell him, bro, you are fucking trash. Trash. And I honestly do think, I'm not sure, it looked like him. It looked like him, the comb over and the hair and the fucked up beard. I know it was him. I could be wrong, though. I remember I was going down the escalator of the casino that we were in for Double or Nothing. And he was coming up the escalator. Swear to God, he looked right at me like he seen a ghost. And I'm like, oh my God, is that Ryan Satan? And I'm looking up. He didn't look back at me. He looked at me, turned away. He looked at me and shied away. Like he's seen fucking Satan himself. Uh-oh. I better stay out of the way. I better stay out of this guy's way. Yeah, you better stay out of my way, motherfucker. Such a trash fucking individual. Blocks everybody. Well, I do too, because I block people who are very disrespectful to me. But I called him out on a situation where he was actively supporting the women's revolution during Evolution. I'm like, bro, are you fucking serious? The women's division is fucking downright awful and is only being held up by Becky and Ronda, and you're telling me that women's wrestling has never been better on WWE television? Get the fucking cock out of your mouth. Awful. Guy is a fucking loser. So that's that. WWE should certainly learn a lesson or two if things don't get worse, which right now they're not. So they have no fucking excuse to go about doing the same thing that they did on Monday Night Raw on Friday. AEW did it. Ended up being a great show for it. Critically fucking acclaimed show by everybody in the community. Everybody. Even had people who were not for AEW praising what AEW did. Yet this guy is fucking making anti-AEW remarks, which triggers everybody. And then you got the fucking cretins who have absolutely no opinion whatsoever. And they jump on board with the AEW hate. When AEW did the best that they could possibly do and fucking nailed a grand slam in the bottom of the ninth. Matt Hardy reveals he didn't force Jeff Hardy to change the name of a popular Hardy Boy move. So in case you missed it, Jeff Hardy debuted a brand new finishing move during his match with Baron Corbin. Hardy hit a swinging neckbreaker instead of his usual twist of fate cutter. Michael Cole called the new move the Twist of Fury. It was reported that Jeff was forced to come up with a new finisher due to the fact that his brother Matt has trademarked the term Twist of Fate. Matt let his WWE contract expire and showed up on Dynamite on Wednesday, and he is the fifth man to join the Elite against the Inner Circle at Blood and Guts. Matt Hardy has strongly denied that he forced WWE to rename Jeff's finisher. He took to Twitter and Matt said this, and I quote, "I did not. The WWE and Jeff are completely free to use Twist of Fate. The change 100% came on their end. I wouldn't do anything to hinder my brother. I'm thrilled to see him back on WWE TV looking healthy and happy." End quote. Now, for everybody wondering why the name of the move was changed, folks, it is a very simple situation. And I'm going to take a sip of my beverage here. And I'm sure you already know the reason, but W effect. Oh! Yeah, that. AEW effect. They don't want somebody on AEW television using the Twist of Fate, so they changed it to the Twist of Fury. There you go. Any more questions in this class? No? Class dismissed. I'll see you next week. Very simple, folks. Very simple. The Twist of Fate not being used on WWE TV because WWE doesn't want one of their performers to use the same move as somebody on AEW television. Same goes with this. Jeff Hardy. Remember Jeff Hardy's old theme song? No More Words. So Hardy himself revealed on WWE The Bump that he is now able to use No More Words as his theme song going forward. The Bump and their social media account tweeted out, BRB freaking out because at Jeff Hardy brand just confirmed the impending return of his No More Words entrance theme. Now, why do you think that is? Two reasons, folks. One, which is the more logical of the reasons. WWE wants to differentiate Matt from Jeff. They always looked at Jeff as being the better Hardy. Or they don't want the same theme song. They don't want the same theme song that Matt used on WWE TV for Jeff because people are going to think about Matt now that he's back with AEW on TV doing Broken, who is probably going to be more over than Jeff Hardy in WWE currently now. Now, the first one has every bit of it to do with the AEW effect. This is partially an AEW effect move. And no, I'm not reaching with that. I'm not. Because Jeff Hardy has had the same fucking theme music for years. Years. Even when Jeff was doing his own thing, when Matt was not on TV, he was always using the Hardy Boys theme. Now that Matt is not in WWE, now he's not allowed to use the Hardy Boys theme. Or now that Matt is not in WWE, now all of a sudden WWE is going to be like, yeah, sure. Sure, but we can't get Sheamus' old theme song back, or we can't get Drew McIntyre using his old fucking theme song, right? Why? Why? But Jeff gets his old theme song back. AEW effect is real, folks. It is absolutely real. That's that. Moving on with the rest of the SmackDown news. Let's see. Speaking of Matt Hardy, Matt Hardy, it did not take him long at all to go out there and shit on Vince McMahon. Matt Hardy says WWE sucks all the fun out of pro wrestling. So Chris Jericho had Matt Hardy on Talk is Jericho. Matt Hardy debuted just a few weeks after his WWE contract expired. And within days of debuting, Jericho had him on the podcast to talk about his WWE tenure. Hardy spoke in depth about WWE offering him a lot of money to stay, but explained the decision to leave and join AEW came down to wanting to be able to have creative freedom in the final years of his career. He says this, and I quote, "They tried very hard to sign me. They have offered very good money. Yeah, they tried very hard to sign him when they did not use him for the last 2 years of that contract. Now all of a sudden they want to sign Jeff Hardy. Why? Why do you think that is, folks? They want Jeff Hardy because they got plans for Jeff Hardy. They want to feature Jeff Hardy in a major storyline with Randy Orton. Oh, man. They're going to push Matt Hardy or Jeff Hardy. They got plans for Jeff Hardy. Did I say Jeff Hardy? I don't even know anymore. I mean, I'm fucking losing my mind. Yeah, they got plans for Matt Hardy, right? They don't got plans for nobody. They don't even have plans for Jeff Hardy. They don't got plans for Matt, Jeff. Nobody. Look at the plans they had for Jeff. Yeah, come back in an empty arena. We'll put you in the ring in your first match back against Baron Corbin. That's their plans for Jeff Hardy. Yeah, but they got plans for Matt Hardy now because they offered him good money, right? Of course they don't have any plans. They didn't want him to go anywhere else. Because Matt Hardy is going to be the difference in AEW getting to that million plateau. It's coming. It's coming. They might not have hit 1 million since their debut episode, but with Matt doing his broken shtick, he will get them to 1 million. That's my prediction. They tried very hard to sign me. They have offered very good money, but I know my role would have been minimalized. For me, more important than money right now, I like to totally utilize my creativity, and the last 3 to 4 years I have to do this. I want to enjoy it. He also said WWE often sucks the fun out of wrestling, which is also a large reason for the decision to leave. I want to be creative and I want to have fun. In WWE, a lot of times they suck the fun out of it because it's become such a business and you become a cog in the machine. So that's what he said there. And creative freedom is something it's something that a lot of guys want. And it's a lot of what former WWE superstars have spoken about since leaving the company. Something that they've wanted. And it's something AEW appears to be very happy to provide to its wrestlers. Hardy was very honest about his reasons for leaving WWE, which were largely due to the lack of creative freedom in the company, taking the fun out of everything that should be happening on TV. They take the fun out of wrestling. Hardy says he may not have left. This is interesting. And it kind of goes with everything that we have felt as a community anyway when it comes to WWE programming. Who do we always blame? Vince McMahon. So this is very interesting. It's kind of a solid piece, and it's just justification for what we think. Hardy says he may not have left WWE at all if someone other than Vince McMahon had been at the helm. In fact, he used Triple H as an example for this and said he may well have resigned if Triple H had been in command. He would have resigned with the company if Triple H was in Vince McMahon's position. WWE, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. He didn't really say anything bad about the company. The company knows that they fucking suck creatively. They know they're not fun. This is not new. Matt Hardy didn't go out there and start talking shit about WWE. He didn't say anything yet you don't already know. You know it already. You just refuse to say it because you got some other propaganda and agenda you want to throw out there. You all know this already. What is new here that he expressed? Nothing. They suck the fun out of everything, and they do. Nothing is fun in WWE. Nothing. Now, do they know how to have fun? I don't even know if they know how to have fun. They are so stuck in their ways. Now, some of them might know how to have fun. Some of them might know when it's called upon to cut an unscripted promo. Look at AEW. Look at how loose. Look at how jovial. Look at how free everything feels. And look at what happens. MJF's in the ring cutting a promo. You think he's scripted? Of course not. Is Cody scripted? Of course not. Is Dustin Rhodes scripted? Of course. Is Chris Jericho scripted? Is Jon Moxley scripted? Of course not. Is Pac scripted? Of course not. They're not scripted. Would WWE allow their guys to go out there and do that? No. Would they even be able to do that to that ability, to that extent? Who knows? They're probably so stuck in their ways. They're probably so stuck in their militant ways that they don't even know how to have fun anymore. Their matches, the bigger matches in AEW, I don't even think they have producers. They got producers, but I don't think the producers overtake the fucking match. I don't think the producers run the match into the ground, go over piece by piece, step by step, sequence by sequence. What fun is that? What fun is that? You're going to go in there and you're going to fucking totally produce an AJ Styles match. You're going to go in there and totally produce a Ricochet match. This is why so many of their wrestlers are so fucking boring. It's the same thing every single week. Every single week. You never see that type of stuff from AEW guys. Oh, but they do the flips and the dives. Tell me, how many of Cody's matches have been the exact same? There's not one Cody match that you've seen from now all the way dating back to Double or Nothing that's been the same. Not one. WWE just doesn't know how to be free. Everything is just so forced. Everything is just so polished, right? Everything is just so micromanaged. Matt Hardy did not say anything at all that you don't already know. So then this got everybody, up in arms about, AEW. We'll talk about it because I got it in the AEW portion. Everybody was up in arms about, Matt Hardy signed with AEW. Luke Harper, Brody Lee is now on AEW. Now AEW is going to be the landfill for WWE rejects. Now they're rejects, though, right? If they were so much labeled as rejects, then why would WWE throw all this boatload of money at Matt Hardy to keep a reject? Why would WWE go out there and willingly give him or throw him all this money to keep him grounded? Right? He's a reject, though, right? WWE wants to throw all this money at him, but if he goes to AEW, he's a reject. So I guess WWE is handing money hand over fist to a fucking reject, right? People don't understand. AEW is the landfill of WWE rejects. How many homegrown talents does WWE have? I'd love for you to fucking please elaborate that to me. Everybody that you see on fucking TV now has either A, come from the indies, or B, made their name somewhere else. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? We'll go over it because it's in the AEW portion, and I want to move on here. Reason why Paige did not appear on SmackDown like advertised to confront Bayley. Paige tweeted out, "Sorry, guys, travel made it very hard for me to get there for SmackDown Live with everything that's going on, completely out of my control. Very sorry, but at least it's Bayley at WWE is keeping you entertained." WWE has been very accommodating to the talent and people in production, which is why they put SmackDown on with a very, very bare bones crew. So Paige did not make it for travel reasons. If you guys were wondering why they advertised Paige and Bayley, that is the reason. Paige could not make SmackDown because of travel. Mojo Rawley was moved to SmackDown because of Rob Gronkowski's quiet move, or Rob Gronkowski signing. Quiet move there by Mojo Rawley. He was on Raw with Riddick Moss. Forget about it. You think WWE is going to explain to me why Mojo Rawley is now on SmackDown after I seen him with the 24/7 title with R-Truth and chasing Eric Young around and chasing all these different guys around and having Riddick Moss as his linebacker, right? You think we're getting an explanation for Mojo Rawley switching brands? Of course not. Was there a trade made? Of course not. Of course not. WWE doesn't know how to have any fun. They don't know how to have any fun. So Gronkowski made his first WrestleMania appearance back at WrestleMania 33 in 2017 when he helped real-life friend Mojo Rawley win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Wow, what good that did for Mojo's career. Got him the 24/7 title. Wow. Mojo appeared on this week's SmackDown on commentary to announce that Gronk will be on the show. Obviously, this happened already. This is interesting as Rolly is a Raw star. PW Insider noted that WWE may have subtly moved Mojo over to SmackDown to work with Gronk. During his appearance on SmackDown, Mojo noted that he will be appearing with his friend. Mojo Rawley had been on the Raw brand, appeared on SmackDown, and announced Rob Gronkowski would appear on SmackDown. Rawley said he would be with Gronk. Who cares? It's in the news. It's on the podcast. Do you care? I don't give a fuck where Mojo ends up at all. Raw, SmackDown, NXT, catering. I don't give a shit where he ends up, man. I don't give a shit if he ends up being a fucking janitor at the Performance Center. I don't care. He's not going to make a difference anywhere. And if anybody is smiling, it's Mojo. Because he got moved from the 24/7 title cringe like garbage to now appearing with Rob Gronkowski on SmackDown. Talk about a promotion. Holy shit. How long it lasts? Probably not. It'll probably end after next week. WWE may be testing Roman Reigns for the outbreak. I want to say what it is, but then again, I don't because I don't want to get demonetized. But Roman Reigns has been getting a test or has been tested for whatever's going on. So this was, according to Dave Meltzer, that Roman Reigns obviously has a weakened immune system due to whatever happened with his leukemia. He went into remission on Raw in late February 2019. Despite making a recovery from the illness, Roman Reigns has a weakened immune system, and Dave Meltzer is reporting on the latest Wrestling Observer Radio that WWE and its doctors have been monitoring the former WWE champion for the outbreak. They have doctors who are going to monitor Roman Reigns, but he's got a weakened immune system to a degree because of the CML leukemia is in him for life. He beat it. It may not come back. It may come back. Nobody knows. CML is one of those things that can come back and likely will, and he'll likely go through the same scenario that he did. If it's one of those things that's in you and it can come back, it's one of those things that's not really good as far as risk goes. So if anybody's getting tested, WWE is clearly testing Roman Reigns for whatever's going around, and hopefully those tests come back negative. Monday Night Raw had its best rating since February 17th. They drew a 2.34 million viewership on Monday. That was because of The Undertaker, Steve Austin, and Edge being on the show. Yes, folks, this is a 2020 edition of Monday Night Raw. And then they re-aired the 2020 Men's Royal Rumble match with Drew McIntyre winning. That took up most of the first and second hours. It was the best number for the show since February 17th and up 8% from the week prior. Raw still took the top 3 spots in the 18-49 demo with a 0.76 average, with no cable news shows beating 0.55. Raw continued its daylight savings time pattern for the second hour, being the highest rated, perhaps because of the re-airing of the Men's Royal Rumble match from this year. Austin was saved for last, and there was a very significant second to third hour drop of 15%. The first to third hour drops in the key demos were not far off from what a normal Raw would get, with women 18-49 down 11% from hour 1 to 3, men 18-49 down 13%, and teenage boys down 19%. Teenage girls actually grew. Raw was 14th for the night overall on cable, with new shows on CNN, Fox News, and MSNBC doing well above usual numbers for obvious reasons. Raw was down 13% from the same week last year, which is kind of alarming if you ask me. Where did all those people go? The 3 hours were as follows. 8 p.m. was a 2.41, 9 p.m. was a 2.49, and then 10 p.m. was a 2.11. The show was garbage. Garbage. I mainly came on here and spoke about WrestleMania being moved to the Performance Center because that news broke around 6:30 p.m. on Monday, and then obviously with WWE pretty much having a non-existent Raw, outside of The Undertaker and AJ Styles signing their contract for WrestleMania, and Edge cutting a promo on Randy Orton, and then Steve Austin being there, there was really no show at all. None. Vince McMahon's involvement on Raw Monday. Ringside News. Yes, I know they are shady, and yes, I know a lot of people don't like them, but Ringside News has been told that Vince McMahon was personally involved in producing 2 segments during Raw this week. Well, there was only 2 segments, pretty much. Vince McMahon had production meetings, and then he went into his office to deal with WrestleMania matters. Talent worked with Paul Heyman for a while. Then Vince McMahon came out later to assist in producing the Steve Austin and The Undertaker segments, which would make sense, and it's correlating to all the other reports that I had on the podcast, that Paul Heyman was working with Edge and Randy Orton on their program. On top of Brock Lesnar and Drew McIntyre, he's also working with them, and he's working with Goldberg and Roman Reigns on their program, which we'll see what happens going into SmackDown and then obviously into WrestleMania. But that goes in sync with what we've talked about with Heyman working with Edge and then obviously Vince McMahon working with Steve Austin and The Undertaker segments, which I didn't like either one of them. I really didn't. But I appreciated The Undertaker coming out not as the dead man, but more big evil-ish. McMahon is very busy, and obviously there are a lot of things going on right now. But the 2 segments that McMahon was involved in was The Undertaker and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Note from The Undertaker's promo, this is coming from Loose Lips. Loose Lips backstage on Reddit. Now, they've revealed some things in the past, verbatim, and they posted a response to a question asking if The Undertaker flipped the script. Did The Undertaker go off the script on Monday, which caused them to cut to commercial break during the show when he flipped the table over? Loose Lips backstage responded, no, this was written in the script. That's pretty much it. So if you guys thought that The Undertaker was shooting on WWE, no. It was all in the script for him to come out angry and flip the table. Raw decided to cut a commercial right as The Undertaker got in the ring and started tearing up the contract and ruining the contract setup. It was written for The Undertaker to come down and immediately start rearranging furniture. This was not a call on the fly from The Undertaker. So that's that. Obviously, the storyline is now AJ Styles is calling The Undertaker Mark, and he's making derogatory marks against Michelle McCool, who is The Undertaker's wife. And that is pretty much the storyline going into WrestleMania. Now, there is also news that The Undertaker was supposed to come out if WrestleMania was to go on as planned in Tampa at Raymond James Stadium. There was a plan in place for The Undertaker to come out as the biker version of The Undertaker. There was, I guess, plans in place for The Undertaker to come down and ride down on his motorcycle and do his motorcycle thing. So that's that. Obviously, that's not happening at the Performance Center, but I am glad the WWE had The Undertaker come out and just walk, or I guess power walk down to the ring. He didn't do the lights. He didn't do the smoke. He didn't do the eyes and the lightning and the thunder. He didn't do any of that dead man stuff, and he shouldn't, because it's not going to be the same. It's not WrestleMania. So I don't want to see that happen at WrestleMania. I don't want to see that happen while they're in the Performance Center. Take the gimmick and align it and fit it with what is going on now. The real-life Undertaker, the one we seen on Monday, is the version that we should be getting for the foreseeable future. There's no reason for The Undertaker to come out as the dead man. Not at this stage of the game with AJ Styles and what's happening at WrestleMania. It's personal. You're not going to fight a personal battle as The Undertaker and, oh my God, raise the dead and dig holes and take souls and talk about fucking urns and souls and spirits and all that shit. He's making fun of your wife. Are we going to get the dead man Undertaker talking about fucking urns and souls and death? Or are we talking about a man's personal fucking business, real life business? For Christ's sake, you're being called Mark Calloway on WWE TV. If anything deserves a biker Undertaker, that's it. And then AJ Styles says he's going to put the final nail in the coffin of The Undertaker. I reported last week, could we be setting up for a coffin match or a casket match at WrestleMania? I'd love it. I think that would be great. So let's see what WWE does. They're going to have to go outside the box. Maybe this is one of those things that WWE didn't have previously planned, but now they might be planning a casket match at WrestleMania. So we'll see what happens there. But The Undertaker's promo was written in the script. The Rock praised Shayna Baszler. We talked about this on Friday's show. Quickly, I'm going to go over this. The Rock says this in regards to Shayna Baszler. Baszler wrote, "My first WrestleMania moment will be perfect. No one in the arena to dampen the sound of tendons ripping and bones cracking and snapping as I become the Raw Women's Champion and usher in a new era Hashtag reality, hashtag crank, rip, tear. This led to The Rock responding to her tweet, The Rock of all people. So she was probably thrilled to see, on her phone when she opened the Twitter, oh shit, The Rock tweeted me. He says this, now that's a ticket selling tweet. Empty arena is quite fun though, can't wait. So, A, Rock put over Shayna, and B, Shayna is using social media to the best of her ability to sell not only the match with Becky Lynch, but sell the fact that it might take place in an empty arena, and she used the vibe and the environment of the empty arena to sell the match with Becky Lynch, to fit her character. That is someone who gets it, folks. So the next time you want to shit on Shayna Baszler, maybe you should second guess what you're about to say before you say it. AEW and NXT ratings on Wednesday. They really don't matter this week because NXT didn't have a show. AEW did have a show. It was critically acclaimed by everybody in the community. AEW Dynamite averaged 932,000 viewers on Wednesday night, up 22% from last week, with news coverage of the pandemic going on, dominating the cable ratings. Dynamite finished 20th in the 18 to 49 demo. That said that everybody is looking towards mainstream media to get their information on what's going on. Shame on you. They're doing nothing but fear-mongering and scaring you. That being said, the rating in that category was up 35% from last week. The viewership for the best number of Dynamite since January 15. NXT, on the other hand, presented a show with no live wrestling action and video packages building up their current feuds. It averaged 542,000 viewers, which is shocking that the show still averaged 542,000 views with no live wrestling. Down 22% from last week. 18 to 49 demo, the show averaged a 0.16 rating, dropping all the way down to 81st in that category. The viewership was the lowest to date on USA Network. The 18 to 49 demo number was second lowest, trailing only the January 1st episode, which was a best of show that also featured the NXT Year-End Awards show. So maybe I said this then, you would think that WWE knows better when they come up to their year-end awards this year, not to do what they did last year. Can't be taking weeks off like that, man. Detailed demo ratings for NXT are not available since the show finished outside of the top 50 for Dynamite. The strongest demo was men 18 to 49, where it actually tied for 7th overall on cable with a 0.47 rating. Show was great. And if you don't think the show was great, you're a fucking idiot. Matt Hardy debuting, Brody Lee debuting as the leader of the Dark Order. He's the Exalted One. They did everything that they needed to do. Whether or not, I said this yesterday, whether or not they watched WWE fail at what they did is inconsequential. I do not think they were going to do the same thing WWE did anyway. These people are too smart for that. AEW, Cody, the Bucks, Kenny, Tony, they're all too smart for that. They were not going to put on a show in front of an empty arena. I know for a fact that they always had it in their minds to have the roster there, out there, giving some life to the show. I would bet money on that. Now, Dynamite, it might not even take place next week. Dynamite might not even take place next week. They used on the next Dynamite. They didn't say all through the evening, on next week's Dynamite. The promotion is not hyping these matches for next week, but rather used graphics that showed next Dynamite. According to a report by PW Insider, the reason behind the language for these graphics is due to AEW President Tony Khan and other officials thinking it shouldn't be taken for granted right now that there will be a show next week. This all comes down to the outbreak and things constantly changing on a daily basis regarding life in the United States. The promotion didn't want to promise fans anything for next week's show should things change that would prevent them from holding a live show. Thus, if the show goes on as planned, then nothing will change, but if the show gets canceled, they won't have to publicly delay it. New matches have been added to the show, including Luchasaurus versus Wardlow and a parking lot street fight with the Best Friends and the Death Triangle. Obviously, the Blood and Guts match is going to be the majority of the show. It consists of the Inner Circle, Chris Jericho, Jake Hager, Sammy G, Santana and Ortiz versus the Elite, which is Cody, Hangman Page, Kenny Omega, Matt Jackson, and Matt Hardy. Lumberjack match, Luchasaurus versus Wardlow, and then the street fight, like I said, Chucky T, Trent, and Orange Cassidy versus Pentagon, Phoenix, and Pac. So that is that. Now, where's Nick Jackson? He's out indefinitely per AEW storylines. He will not be in Blood and Guts. He's being replaced by Matt Hardy, and he will be out because he is expecting the birth of his third child. Him and his wife are expecting the birth of their third child, so that is that. I thought Moxley would fit in well, but obviously AEW went with Matt Hardy. They had balls to debut Matt Hardy on Wednesday's show in front of no crowd. Very bold and risky move, but it paid off well. Matt Hardy's social media absolutely fucking exploded. My social media went fucking crazy. Unbelievable stuff. And AEW played it right, man. They played it so brilliantly. Matt debuting on that show was the last image that you seen on Dynamite. And they debuted him knowing that NXT had previously announced that they were not holding any live matches on NXT. So they were like, well, we're going to have a show. We're not changing anything. For this week, at least, we're going to have a full show. We're going to have the advertised show that we were going to give you from Rochester, New York, if there was not a pandemic going on. And they debuted Matt Hardy knowing that NXT did not have a live show. So if you're watching AEW, if you're one of those people that watch NXT on a normal basis but didn't watch this week, and you watch AEW instead, and you're seeing the last image of Matt Hardy, what is the one thing that you're thinking about? Oh man, I can't wait to see what Matt Hardy says on AEW next week. I'm going to watch AEW next week. They got you. So that was a brilliant move. Bold, but brilliant move to debut Matt Hardy, knowing there was no NXT live matches. There was not even an NXT show at all on Wednesday. Thumbs up from me to Tony Khan. Awesome stuff by everybody involved in AEW. AEW trolls on social media, they look to criticize AEW for taking WWE talent and making a big deal about it. Guys, I'm going to, live right here on the podcast, WWE roster 2020. Let's see. Okay? Let's see who's on the WWE roster here, folks. Okay? I want to read you the story here, because Cody responded respectfully to some fucking social media cretin on Twitter. And after Wednesday's episode of Dynamite, Brody Lee, Dark Order, Exalted One, and Matt Hardy, broken again. No fans in attendance, critically acclaimed show. Now, before the outbreak, AEW planned Matt Hardy and Brody Lee to make their debuts. Despite having no fans there, the promotion went forward with their plans and storytelling. Some fans have criticized the promotion for bringing in Brody Lee and Matt Hardy due to them previously working for WWE. TNA was always criticized notoriously for bringing in any ex-WWE talent. So, Cody Rhodes, AEW's executive vice president, teamed up with Hangman Page, Kenny Omega, Matt Jackson, and now Matt Hardy to go against the Inner Circle in Blood and Guts, their version of War Games. Matt responded to Rhodes on Twitter where he said he's excited to change the world with Cody. This caused backlash on social media amongst some irrelevant individuals, which Cody Rhodes addressed. Rhodes said this: talent is talent. Merit-based company. We have a great roster from all types of places, mainly blossoming independent stars. It's a great balance. One fan responded to Cody's comment, pointing out how AEW has a number of other former WWE stars under contract. These stars include Jim Ross, Chris Jericho, Dustin Rhodes, Pac, Brody Lee, Matt Hardy. Cody responded with Darby, Luchasaurus, Orange Cassidy, Britt Baker, Jungle Boy, Private Party, amongst others. More unknown than known. Fresh is the term we like. Nice balance, fresh approach. AEW continues to live rent-free in all of these irrelevant scumbags' heads. And I love it. I take great pride in promoting and supporting AEW for this reason. Is there any reason to shit on AEW now that Matt Hardy and Brody Lee are in AEW? What if Brody Lee and Matt Hardy stayed in WWE? you'd be complaining that they're not being used, right? Now that they want to go out there and Brody Lee wants to have a career that he is happy with, Matt Hardy wants to live out the remaining years in pro wrestling under his own terms. Now you're shitting on it. Now you shit on it. This is what I call fucking irrelevant. These people, they should not even be watching wrestling, let alone talking about it. You mean nothing to nobody. You chase clout, you try to act intelligent, you try to act like a smartass, you think you know everything. Motherfucker, if you know everything, then come on here and do it better than I can, and I know you won't be able to. What's the criticism of AEW now that Matt Hardy and Brody Lee are there? Why? Like Matt Hardy and Brody Lee are going to be the last WWE talent that AEW picks up. Of course not. The Revival is going to end up being over there as well. Who's to say Sasha Banks don't end up over there when her contract's up? She didn't sign a 5-year deal, by the way. I know this firsthand. So she'll be gone. Daniel Bryan's contract's coming up. Who's to say he wants to still be in WWE? Maybe he wants to go over to AEW. You're going to criticize Daniel Bryan? You're going to criticize AEW for picking up a Daniel Bryan? What if AEW picked up CM Punk? Would you be saying that he's an ex-WWE guy? Give me a fucking break. Give me a break. If you're a fan of Matt Hardy, you're going to be a fan of Matt Hardy no matter where he is. If he's wrestling in fucking Grimm's backyard, if he's in AEW, if he's working in New Japan, if he's working in Ring of Honor, you're going to be a fan of Matt Hardy. Same thing with Brody Lee. Same thing with Brody Lee. AEW went out there and signed Lance Archer. I don't hear people saying that, oh, Lance Archer is an ex-New Japan guy. Where's AEW's homegrown talents? Are you going to say the same thing when they end up picking up Brian Cage, too? What if they end up getting Sami Callihan? That's an obvious place for him to end up. He ain't going to NXT. He ain't going to WWE. Where the fuck do you think he's going to end up? Give me a break. You see, it doesn't work both ways. It's only, oh, AEW signs ex-WWE rejects. If Matt Hardy stayed with the WWE, then that would mean he's a reject, though, right? He would be a reject to you, right? Oh, of course not, because he stayed with the WWE. Now that he's in AEW, now he's a reject. He's a reject now because he went to AEW. Let's look at the list, folks. Let's look at the list. AJ Styles. Is he a WWE homegrown talent? Well, I don't think so, right? He made his name in New Japan. He made his name in Impact. WWE signed him 10 years too late. Why? I don't know, because they're fucking stupid. Aleister Black. He ain't homegrown talent, is he? Tommy End? He ain't homegrown talent. He's an independent guy that they signed, right? Andrade. He ain't homegrown. Bobby Lashley, maybe. Even at that point, I don't even know. Bobby Lashley was terrible in WWE. He left to go to Impact to make a bigger name for himself, and then he came back thinking that he was going to use whatever he had an Impact in WWE, and that's not the way WWE operates. So even Bobby Lashley, he didn't make his name in WWE. He went over to Impact and made a bigger name for himself over there. Then he came back and died. Cedric Alexander, independent guy. Drew McIntyre, same thing. He went over to Impact and made a bigger name for himself. Why did he end up going to the WWE? Because WWE didn't want him to go anywhere else. EC3, he ain't homegrown. Well, he might be homegrown, but they're not using him. Eric Young, not homegrown. Ivar and Eric, not homegrown. Who else we got here? Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. Where'd they make their name? New Japan. WWE ain't doing anything with them. Kevin Owens, where'd they get him from? Was he homegrown? I don't think so. Ricochet? I don't think so. Samoa Joe? Seth Rollins? Most of the guys you see on Monday Night Raw came from the independents. Asuka? She ain't homegrown. Billie Kay? She ain't homegrown. Kairi Sane? Who else we got? Ruby Riott? All independent superstars. Io Shirai? Let's look at SmackDown. Apollo Crews? He ain't homegrown. We got Cain Velasquez? Yeah, Yeah, I don't hear you criticizing WWE over signing ex-UFC guys who can't cut it in a WWE ring. Cesaro, independent guy. Daniel Bryan, independent guy. Who else we got? Drew Gulak, independent guy. Gran Metalik, independent guy. Who else we got here? Mustafa Ali, I don't even know where he came from. He might be homegrown. I doubt it. Bobby Roode, he ain't homegrown. Shinsuke Nakamura, he ain't homegrown. Give me a break, folks. Give me a break. Let's look at NXT. You want to dive deeper into this? Let's look at NXT. Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, Damian Priest, Dominic Dijakovic, Finn Balor, Johnny Gargano, Keith Lee, Kushida, Kyle O'Reilly, Leo Rush, Matt Riddle, Roderick Strong, Tommaso Ciampa. The Velveteen Dream is the only one on that list that is a homegrown guy. Out of everybody that you're currently seeing on TV right now. You know? Give me a break. Give me a break. Bianca Belair is another one, homegrown. 98% of WWE's roster is not homegrown. 2% is Candice LeRae, Indies. Bianca Belair, homegrown. Dakota Kai, Indies. Deonna Purrazzo, Indies. Io Shirai, Indies. Jessamine Duke, MMA. Casey Catanzaro, American Ninja Warrior. She wasn't even a fucking pro wrestler before she came on in there. Maria Shafir, MMA. Mia Yim, Independence. Shayna Baszler, MMA. Give me a break, folks. Give me a break. If AEW signs WWE talent, they're rejects. If WWE signs independent talent, nobody blinks an eye. If WWE signs UFC talent, nobody blinks an eye. It's always AEW. These people are absolutely useless to today's humanity. Stop with the clout. Stop with the fucking desire for social media likes and fucking YouTube fucking clicks or whatever the fuck you guys got going on nowadays. You don't know how to speak logic. You don't know how to speak common sense. You make yourself look dumb every single fucking time you think about typing something on Twitter. Do your fucking research. Look at everybody in WWE on the up. They all came from the indies. Most of everybody that you see on Monday Night Raw is from the indies. But AEW signs Matt Hardy and Luke Harper, Brody Lee, to give them a new lease on life that they would have never gotten in WWE, and now they're rejects. Now they're rejects. You people fucking sicken me to no end. Really. Here's another one. Killer Kross. Where the fuck did he come from? Oh, yeah, he's homegrown talent, right? Yeah, he's homegrown talent. There's a rumor on the start date for Killer Kross in the WWE. Now, Killer Kross has a tattoo, and we've seen his tattoo or something similar to his tattoo in a promo, mysterious promo that WWE's been airing on NXT TV with vultures, crosses, and skulls. NXT even included a skull emoji in the tweet it sent out to show this promo package. This led many people speculating that this video would be debuting Killer Kross. Now, it's not 100% confirmed that Kross is the man behind these strange NXT promos. The Wrestling Observer newsletter did note that it appears that these promos were crafted with Kross in mind. He says this, and I quote, "The NXT videos of the guy coming appeared to be Killer Kross, since there was a tattoo pattern similar to his tattoo, and they may put him together with Scarlett Bordeaux, his girlfriend. There were also hints of a 4/7 debut." Now, we don't know if this is still in the works. We don't even know if there's going to be a show on 4/7. The 4 and the 7 in these cryptic videos point towards the possibility of something big happening on NXT following WrestleMania. This could mean a interesting situation. It could also be fascinating to see if NXT changes Killer Kross's name, since Killer isn't too PG. I hope to God not. This would put him debuting right after NXT TakeOver, which is canceled, and WrestleMania, which could be canceled. We don't even know. All of the current storylines would seem to be wrapped up, and he could slide right into a feud upon arrival. A debuting Killer Kross, I'd love to see in a program with Keith Lee, Tommaso Ciampa, Dominic Dijakovic. You know, the list goes on and on. Kushida, Could be great. WWE may choose to put him with Scarlett Bordeaux. I think that's the right fit there. I think if you want to get Scarlett on TV, debut him with Killer Kross, or debut her with Killer Kross, rather. While Bordeaux doesn't necessarily fit with Kross's gimmick, they have worked together in the past and down in Mexico. We may not even be we may not even be getting Killer Kross at this point. We don't know. Everything's just so uncertain, but I wanted to fill you guys in because it is in the news, and he is signed, he is coming, and more than likely he will be debuting with NXT. That's the right decision there. He should not go directly to the main roster. He needs growth in NXT. He needs that NXT feel before we get him on the main roster because nobody knows who he is. And debuting him now, I don't even think, with everything that's going on and the uncertainty that's going on, might not even be a good idea in general. But he is coming. He is signed. I wanted to give you guys an update on Killer Kross. Guys, I'm getting out of here. That is all I have for you on this Saturday. Let me know what you think down below and turn on that bell for all notifications. Hit that subscribe button. If you missed any of the other content this week, check the channel down below in the description. Everything you need is there. Monday Night Raw, AEW, got some video game gameplay, SmackDown review, off the script from Friday. Everything you need is down there in the description. Make sure you guys check out Manscaped, manscaped.com. Use code SCRIPT at checkout for 20% off and free shipping. Make sure you guys support the Patreon page, patreon.com/JDfromNY206. And follow me on Twitter at JDfromNY206. Guys, I'm getting out of here. Hope you have a great weekend. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Have a cold beverage. Enjoy. Relax. Play some video games. Take up a hobby. Keep yourself busy. Hope everybody is well out there. And I'll see you guys right back here on Monday for more Off the Script as we go on into Monday Night Raw. It's going to be a very weird situation. I don't know what's going on. We might not even have any Monday Night Raw. I don't know. We'll just take it as it comes to us. Thank you guys so much. Hit that thumbs up, and I'll see you right back here for a new week of content starting on Monday. See you guys then.